a scholarship to Christ Church College, Oxford, to work on one of his father's newspapers as a cub reporter. Like Charles Dickens, he had begun as a court reporter, sitting on the hard benches of magistrates' courts day after day and recording the fragmentary lives of shoplifters, drunks, and flashers. Then he had graduated to the Old Bailey, to the rank of crime reporter, and after a year of such reporting, his vocation, if such it be, had become apparent to him. He wanted to be a copper. Above all, he wanted to be a detective. The uniform was simply a hurdle en route. What he didn't know was how many hurdles he'd have to jump to get out of uniform. This one bagged around his ankles, sagged at the arse, and would have accommodated another slimmish person at the chest without bursting its silver buttons. It'll never fucking fit. You know, Freddie, it's nothing a good tailor wouldn't work wonders with. When do you actually start? Monday of week after next. Fine, whip round your man in Savile Row and get it tailored. I doubt very much whether folks in Fransham bother with uniforms. Then find another. God knows somebody must tailor uniforms. Think of all those RAF pilots. Think of those guards officers. Do they go around saggy-baggy? Do they fuck? Anyway, get it off now and get your black tie and togs on. Ma's right, there'll be a posse of the old man's oddities knocking back the gin any minute. Then close the door. Sasha closed the door. I meant from the other side. She slumped in a chair, and Troy realized that she had been knocking back the gin already, that she had, in fact, been holding a large gin in her hand all the time, concealed by the door frame, and that she might well be more than a bit pissed. Don't be silly. We've never given a toss about nudity. Indeed, they hadn't. But we're not in the nursery any longer. She sipped, gulped her gin, but didn't move. She had a point, Troy knew. They had undressed in front of each other and his sister, Masha, since childhood. They'd only one rule: never comment on what you see. And he wondered why self-consciousness should become paramount at this moment, and he knew the answer. The uniform. It changed everything. He stripped down to nothing. Sasha looking at him, then not looking at him, and all the time looking unconcerned, until he reached break point. The fastening of the black tie itself. Still can't do it on your own, eh? She stood behind him, taller even when she was barefoot, but now she almost towered over him in heels, her hands at his throat, peering around him to see them both in the mirror, deftly knotting the bow tie, whispering about a rabbit down a hole. Oddities? Eh? You mentioned the old man's oddities, his choice of dinner guests. Who's coming? Well, there's Rosamond Lemon. I know that name. Novelist. Pretty good one, actually. 3 or 4 to her name. She's John's sister. You know John. Rod was at Cambridge with him. One of the Trinity Bright boys. Will John be coming? Yep. And there's Moira Budberg. Again? Weird. Dad seems to enjoy her company. Ma doesn't. Moira name-drops all the bloody time. I think the Baroness Budberg brings a little bit of Russia back to the old man, and, needless to say, Ma doesn't need or want any little bits of old Russia. And Moira makes for a good guessing game. Is she a Soviet spy, or isn't she? I can't see any point in the Soviet Union having spies who tell you they're spies over the fucking soup course. And then there's Harold Macmillan, and weirder. Macmillan's a rebel. You know how the old man loves troublemakers. Mac's a charmer, a hopeless charmer, a backbencher with about as much chance of cabinet office as our cat. Sasha stepped back. You're done. So he was. Troy looked in the mirror and could see himself again, something he had not been able to do dressed as a police cadet come clown. If you asked me when you were 13 and spotty if you'd ever be handsome, only good manners would have restrained me from saying no. But I will say this, Fred. For a Littlinen, you're really rather cute. Troy said nothing. Sasha reverted to the subject. And then there's that new bloke he's got writing book reviews for one magazine or another. Burgess. Guy Burgess. Chapter 2. Troy looked around and felt lost. 18 guests.